Good morning. I'm Simon Gatt for FinanceMalta. I'm here this morning with Malta's Minister for Finance, Economy and Investment, Mr. Tonio Fenech. Good morning, Minister. Malta has survived the recent turmoil pretty well, has shown a lot of resilience and returned to growth fast. To what do you attribute this?
First of all, I think because when the financial crisis occurred, our financial system and also our public finances were in place, and therefore we didn't immediately be hit with the first impact. Subsequently, obviously, there was an economic consequence to the financial crisis because we saw a significant amount of manufacturing demand falling worldwide. We have manufacturing concerns here in Malta which were hit: semiconductor industry, the automotive industry, components, because we don't produce cars ourselves, but quite a number of factories were hit. And the government then intervened to support the companies that really needed it. We did this not through simply giving aid, but rather we sat down with these companies, discussed future plans. A recession is an opportunity because, you know, post-recession growth will come along. But clearly the companies that are most prepared will be able to run the fastest. So what we tried to encourage them to do was to try and identify investment opportunities for growth post-recession. We would support them in that investment, so we would support them also in investing. We train their people to be able to be compatible with the new technology would come into stream, and therefore they wrapped up very quickly post-recession.
Basically using it as an opportunity to boost investment.
Precisely. Then also there are other important factors which I think in terms of the long-term strategic way we have developed our economy, we have managed to therefore weather the storm. Particularly, I keep saying, the very diverse economy we have, that we are not just dependent on one sector, so it's not just the financial service sector, or it's not just the tourism sector, it's not just the manufacturing sector. We've got a quite diverse economy, and this clearly allowed us to be able to cushion better the hits in the sectors which were more concerning, which were particularly the tourism sector and the manufacturing sector. In reality, the financial services sector saw growth in the period of the recession. Even when we were experiencing a general recession, it was very short because we only had the recession for a short 9-month period. In fact, Malta was one of the latter countries in Europe to enter into the recession and was the first country to come out of it. So clearly, I think the way we've responded and the way we've developed the economy has helped us sustain these results.
Our trading partners, other European countries and so on, still have economic problems. Growth is not returning so fast. Does this continue to pose a threat to Malta?
Well, clearly, I would like to see the world to grow because being a small economy and a very open economy, where we are very much dependent on terms of what we export, not just in terms of goods, but also in terms of services, because we are becoming a much more service-oriented economy. For us, it is concerning the fact that our closest neighbors and also the world at large continues to not being able to really recover as quickly as one would have hoped so. Signs of recovery are there in all the major economies. Clearly, there is a concern with a number of austerity measures that are being taken by a number of countries, which clearly will impact growth prospects in those countries too. The uncertainty is still around in some big economies like Ireland, Greece, and other economies which are facing difficulties because of the high level of debt that they have and therefore their inability to go to the markets and raise the capital they need. Clearly, these are concerns. However, I think there are also opportunities in that sense, because I think Malta is being seen internationally in a sense as a beacon, because it has managed to weather the storm, it has maintained a strong financial framework. Actually, we've been commended quite a number of international institutions on the strength of our financial system, and therefore investors who are looking around to see where they could really make the next move. Malta, I believe, should be on the map.
Well, this seems to have been part of the case because the financial services sector has managed to maintain its growth even through the financial crisis. Do you see this growth continuing?
Indications I get from the market, because clearly it is from the discussions I get from the practitioners and the people involved in the sector, clearly there is a lot of room for potential for more growth, and growth is happening. You notice also international reviews are recognizing these, particularly in the funds sector, where we are seeing significant growth. Today we hold a portfolio of about 8 billion worth of funds locally, and if I'm not mistaken, last year we had an increase of 13%, so quite significant number of increase there. So the financial service industry is indeed growing. We are looking to attract, a varied amount of service providers, so we do not look just at financial institutions limited to funds, but we have other sectors which we are seeing growth at, insurance, even banking operations. And therefore, I believe, yes, if we have to look at the longer term strategy within the financial service sector, I think it is a sector where we are going to see significant opportunities for growth. What we need to ensure is that we need to maintain the sound regulatory framework we've always maintained, because I think the big lesson internationally from the financial crisis was that unless we have proper sound regulation today, a lot of rules also internationally, even at the European level, in terms of ensuring that there's also more cross-border supervision. For us, that is good news, because we are able to compete much better if everybody is properly well regulated, because we believe that is an important aspect in the growth in the financial services sector.
Apart from regulation, which has been an important aspect in Malta's offering since the beginning, to be honest, what are the main factors that you see as driving this growth?
Well, there are a number of factors. Clearly, I think the ability of our economy to respond very quickly. And this is also in terms of operations that want to start up. There's a low cost to be able to start up and also to move in an operation from another jurisdiction to Malta. Many times, even when it comes to the fund sector, it can be very expensive, because you may be required in some jurisdiction to actually liquidate the fund and re-establish it in a jurisdiction. That doesn't have to happen in Malta. You can seamlessly transfer the operation into Malta without any significant impact to the operation itself. I think also the quality of the people there are on the island, and clearly compared to the other jurisdictions, the cost level of obtaining the high quality skills that the sector requires. And therefore there I think we are very much competitive. Clearly the fact that we are very fluent in English, that also our legal system is a system which embraces both UK statutory law principles and continental commercial law principles and marries them together, makes it also easier also to do international business, because you find a platform which is compatible both with the Anglo-Saxon environment and the continental environment. So there are quite a number of factors. I say also when people come here to Malta, it's nice to live in. And people who are in the sector find that an important aspect too, because many times they say, well, is Malta this sunny island in the Mediterranean where all you find is sand and sea? In fact, it is not so. In fact, you'll find that it's a place full of history, full of culture, a good restaurants, a good place to live in. So, many people then realize, well, we're missing out.